what we are going to see in this platform. We are going, what we are seeing as a user. We are having at the left, some of you can say some settings of your user account. We are having the console, we are having the history, we are having the account, and probably the most, if you can say, useful for the users for the first time is the user guide. The user guide creates a specific, if I can say, details like a tutorial for each specific component that you are going to see. Also, for example, the authentication, we are describing the authentication and the account management. We're having what is the dashboard, how you can use the data sets. You can see here if we are going from the tutorials, we are having examples. And of course, at the end, we are having for each use cases how you can run a specific use case with specific steps of our platform. So the tutorial that you would like to follow is something like already embedded in our platform. What we are seeing here, the first thing is the data sets. So if you would like to search in our, if you can say data sources, a specific data source, you are really free to go through an easy way search. What I mean is, for example, I would like to see data sources for that they are having temperature, that they're describing temperature. What we are going to ask from the knowledge graph is to return all the data sources, the most, if you can say, what is the search results ranking algorithm? That's a good question, I think, coming from the knowledge graph and for a novel core. I don't know if novel core is present right now.
Yes, but I can answer that.
Okay, please.
On behalf of Novel Core, knowledge graph searches words of the data sets that are in the graph of our platform, and based on that, we have the output ranking based on how much words of the ones that we have in the search text area, the text box, are in the relation with that.
As we have already discussed through what we would like to check, for example, is the following, that we are trying to mask all the differences between the data sources. And this was not, as we discussed also in the previous introduction, so easily, because a lot of data sources having quite different APIs, they have different requests, they have different metadata, so we have to create general APIs updated based on the specific updates or differences in order to keep updated in the knowledge graph. Of course, to be covered through a common, if you can say, API, and of course under a common metadata description of these differences. As you can see here, for example, the resources, they have a title, they have a description. You know which specific data source you are going to hit, like the EDAM, like the UMECHAT, like the Sentinel Hub, and these things. We are quite usual often in order to specify the data and the APIs, of course, the geolocation of the data that you want. For example, we would like to use a specific bounded box, or you want, for example, to use or to retrieve data from Spain, for example. And another, if you can say, specific attribute that we need for all, at least the use cases, is to pick a date range. So these two, if you can say, characteristics are quite important for all the calls of the APIs in order to retrieve data. What is the first one is the location of a specific node to return an API for all the world, and of course to select a specific data range. Some of the use cases, you are probably expert users and EO satellite users, you know that some results exist or not exist for a specific data range or a specific location. So probably we have give you some insight in the examples in order to return that we have tested specific areas for specific data range and data exists. That's why having insights, because some of the data range, probably we don't receive data from the original data source, not because of our, if you can say, dysfunction of our APIs. We are going to see how we are going to see the datasets. So this is the datasets. We are having the workflow creator. Here, when we are selecting a specific dataset and we are having products, okay, then what we are going to see, we're going to see some data sources that we have already searched and selected, and we were going to see why it's important for that. I'm going to delete everything that I have in my account. Okay. So this is what we have, these are the products from the results of the datasets we have done it before. Because, for example, you are a user, you have searched for a specific area and specific data range sources, and you need to have different pipelines, actions about your specific algorithms, and you want to rerun. So in order not to go back and search again and again your data sources, we're having a history of your dataset products that you have already selected. What we had in this time, the ID, the name, the dates that you created, because you can have different products from different, if you can say, dates that you have created, and some actions. The next component is the workflow editor. Here we are going to create workflows. Which workflows? We're going to create actions of pipelines, pipeline actions, in order to proceed in our cluster. We're having data visualization. Data visualization is more like graphs. It's more about CSVs. It's more like we want some X, Y figures. So it's about the raw data. If you would like to use data visualization for TIFFs and to append like Quantum GIS or ArcGIS layers on top of map, we are having map visualization. This is another component. File Explorer is going to select, when you're having a workflow, you are going to see in your what is downloaded, what is uploaded, what is the output of your specific use case. And at the end, we're having XR/VR. Everything is related with your specific workflow that you are going to create, of course, you understand.